Well, we've just left one 7th generation farmer to travel to another, and today all we've got to do is travel 150 kilometers south from Bitterfontein down to the small town of Clanwilliam, where we're going to be hooking up with John and Sue Berg on their farm Patrijsvlei to check out the humble potato. In a sense, here, agriculture is coming full circle, and it's been driven by the farmers themselves, but you'll check more of that later on. And coming to Clanwilliam for me, dirt road, is like, watch it, coming home, because I used to come up here with my dad as a kid and go water skiing and fishing and things on the Clanwilliam Dam, so yeah, I kind of think like I'm coming home.
Human evolution. It kicked off for us when we were little more than scavengers. We lived off the land, learned to hunt and gather, all the while trying our very best not to be eaten. As time ticked by, we moved up the food chain and got smart, or so we thought. Nowadays, well, we rely on others to produce our food, and we do most of our hunting and gathering in supermarkets, unaware that our eating habits are having a massive impact not only on us, but on the environment as well. My name is Justin Bonello, and this is my journey to find out where the food I eat actually comes from.
Well, here we are, being a Monday morning. John is at the packing sheds and not at the farm. So we're going to come straight here. Hi, we're here to see John. Thank you. And go settle into where we're staying later on. And I'm hoping that John's going to show us around the farm a bit. Good morning, John.
Justin, how are you?
Good, thanks. So if we can start off from the beginning, geez, that would be quite nice, because if we can start from the little plants, and then we'll work out from there.
Okay, well, let's go. Little plants are about 25 kilos down the track, eh?
It's all right.
Yeah, I grew up on the farm next door. This used to be the original family farm.
Yeah.
1820 in that house. That's when we bought it. My father's father moved 10 kilos downstream. So that's where he grew up, and that's where I grew up. And then we bought this farm back in about 1975. But my ancestry comes from 1662.
You guys have been here since Ma and Pa fell off the wagon.
We didn't have any Eskom power till 1975.
Yeah.
And then in about 1983, center pivots arrived. And then it just made it so much easier just to plow over vast tracts of land, press the green button, and the water comes, and there you irrigate 50 hectares. It was like a miracle. So that led to a massive expansion in potato hectares being planted. Here we grow quite a lot of potatoes and sweet potatoes and onions and butternuts. We grow a lot of butternuts. You leach into the...
In winter, you don't have
subsoil.
the same irrigation issues as you do in summer, when it's hitting like 40, 45 degrees now. Summer, those pivots must virtually run 24/7.
Every day in summer, potato consumes about 8 to 12 millimeters of water. So I think the sum says it's 200 kilograms of water per kilogram of potato produced.
I almost fell over backwards when you said that.
Yeah. We've got probes. There's a probe. If you look through there, there's a blue pipe there. See, it's got a rain gauge on top.
Yeah.
So it will measure how much water goes over with each irrigation or with the rain.
Yeah.
And then it's got the probe over there, which measures the moisture in the soil.
Content going down.
Yeah. And then it's a little aerial, which transmits.
back to your office.
Yeah.
So then you can tell all the fields under irrigation what's going on.
I can just sit there and do nothing and see what's happening. And the whole pressure on the environment from spraying too much gets reduced.
Listen, a lot of it makes perfect sense to me. You know, what's nice about a center pivot, in a sense, is you can't have them overlapping each other. So at some point, you're going to have spaces in between where there is natural environment left.
And that's what part of this whole biodiversity Sunfelt initiative is to keep a certain percentage of your land, they're talking 40%, unplowed forever. So it's a whole lot of small things, and if we can get them implemented all together, then it could make a significant difference.
What's your thoughts on it?
No, well, we're just going to have to do it. If we want to carry on, we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to become as they say, become the champions of the cause. At the moment, we are made out to be the villains of the cause, but in fact, we are the champions of the cause because it affects nobody quite as much as what it affects the landowner himself, because it's his asset. Most of these people have been farming for generations.
And generations.
And generations, yeah, because that's all we can do.
You know, pesticides and fertilizers only kicked in after the Second World War. That's when we turned our weapons of mass destruction into weapons of mass production.
Without the synthetics, we wouldn't have survived, eh?
But
now we've got to do it differently.
Now we're having to say the synthetics don't work.
They got us so far, but maybe they're just waiting to tip us. Eh?
It's applying the principles we learned out of synthetics, but with the natural systems. So you'll have to look for natural systems that are cost-effective to produce your crops. And again, if I know I'm buying from you, I'm buying into your ethics and your morals.
Well, that's actually the point. Ethics and morals need to be certified, and the consumer must reward the ethical producer. And I think when we get to that stage, you're going to incentivize more and more producers to produce ethically and sustainably and properly.
That's where we need to go back to someone who actually has our interest in heart. Mine, actually, because at the end of the day, I'm eating what you produce.
Okay, Justin, you see these?
Yeah.
Now, on a normal potato, harvesting machine, they would go up through a whole lot of belts and change direction quite often and be cleaned by fingers, and that would bruise them quite a lot. So these are set quite nicely, but they still, on a normal harvesting machine, pick up a lot of damage. So that's why we have them picked up by hand like that.
It must add to your cost immensely.
It does, yes.
But then again, you know what most of the consumers nowadays eat with their eyes. So when they see something, if it's got like a little, it's damaged or it's not good, but the truth is it's just as good.
It's just as good, and often the varieties that eat better don't look so good. They're not as white, they're not as shiny, so that's the problem.
And when will these be in the supermarket?
Today's Monday, on Wednesday morning. Yeah. They get lifted now, taken through to the pack sheet, get washed, dried, packed, delivered.
The fruits of your labor look very good.
Maybe they'll taste good as well, eh? Who knows? They've got to be treated fairly gently, yeah. And it seems like they are treating them gently at the moment. You see, and the trick is to bring it over with sand. They mustn't jump like that on the belt. They must come over like that with sand. As soon as they start jumping too much, they get damaged. On this farm, we could probably cut 50 jobs by just mechanizing this whole process. You can do the planting, lifting, virtually all the grading and sorting by hand as well. I mean by machine, instead of by hand. But I'd like to have you as one of the members of the farm staff to pick up potatoes, because you're clearly quite thorough.
See, these hands are designed for working. The thing I think that'll get me will be that all day.
No, you get it easily. I used to do that for many years of my life. I picked up potatoes by hand with the staff.
So do you think you can still do it? Let's see who can fill a crate the fastest.
Well, let's go.
Oh, the old man's definitely faster than you. Making me look bad.
It's skill, eh? Okay, Justin, I'm done.
Is that it?
No, you're doing fairly well.
I think what you did there is you actually schneid me. You chose a section that was full, unblemished, untouched.
Nee, my rug is te seer.
Is that it? One crate?
Yeah, we're done.
John, is that it? Time to move to the next farm. I was just beginning to warm up.
Ask me why I only picked up one crate.
Yeah, that they're definitely going to say.
Yeah. They pick up 100 crates each, at least a day.
Really?
Yeah.
So, why come here at sunset to walk in amongst 50 odd tons of potatoes that will one day turn into our food? Well, it's the irony that gets to me. To create that 50, 60, 70 tons of potatoes, we need to give it massive amounts of water. We need to wipe out whatever lived here beforehand. And we need to do it every single day, somewhere on the planet, to feed us. So there's a part of me that really misses my childhood memory of this valley of Clam William. You know, less farms, all closer to the river where they could pump water. But there's a bigger, wiser part of me that understands that this is necessary if we want to feed all those people that live on the planet. So if you're going to eat meat or vegetables, by this stage you should be wondering where not only your meat comes from, but your vegetables as well. Because if it's not grown in a sustainable, managed method that has minimal impact on the environment, you might as well take the digger loader and scrape right through all of this yourself. We've just arrived at the Patrijsvlei packing shed, where we're going to be meeting farm manager Toby and John Berg. I think it's a little bit early for everyone, even for farmers. You must be Toby. Toby, aangename kennis, Justin Benella.
The Toby operates up at the top there. He's going to take you out. You're going to go and check what's happening there.
So Toby, what happens from here?
Ons moet daar uitrein in die plaas toe.
Ry ons plaas toe?
Ja, dis 30 km.
Okay, so ons moet nou gaan.
Ja.
You can see that Toby is all business. He just wants to get to work now. So we're off to a place called Op die Berg.
Dis 'n bietjie koud vanoggend vir hulle, hè?
Ja, ek sien vir almal. How long you been a farmer for, Toby?
Nou 18 jaar, weet John.
18.
18 jaar.
Dis 'n lekker lewe, nee.
Dis 'n lekker lewe soms tye, maar
Sommige tye is lewe.
baie moeilikheid ook, maar.
Beautiful, eh? When you pull out a crop like this, you must be proud.
Ja.
So, because at the end of the day, this is the end of all your work.
Ja.
You know, and this is now packing shed. And I believe your wife is at the packing shed.
Yeah.
So you have to send what you do to her. Does she ever reprimand you?
Ja.
Kakke uit, nee?
Baie.
Yes. Alles is organies.
Ja, hierdie hele plot hier ons nou is organiese boerdery.
Okay.
Vol organies so. Dis hoekom die onkruid so hier is. As dit nou 'n ander boerdery was, het dit ons nou doodgespuit. En dit is mooi skoon.
Yeah. But there's two trains of thought on that. The one is, yes, use pesticides, use lots of fertilizers, and in theory your yields are bigger.
Ja.
Or let it be more natural and let all the natural organisms work, which is what you're doing here.
Dis hy.
What's your opinion?
Daar's baie om te leer met organies. Ek bedoel ek glo om jou grond moet jy moet jou grond reg kry. En dit vat nie 'n jaar of 2 nie, dit vat 'n paar jaar.
Yeah. So you've got to fix all the mistakes from the past and fix the soil to get it back to a stage where you can get what you want from it.
Dis doodreg.
Thank you, Toby. Now for my mountain walk. Jeez, morning everyone.
Môre kinders, môre
Jeez,
kinders.
still in pajamas
Jeez,
here.
you're
Hey,
working
what's
hard,
going
eh?
on here? You look like you perky this morning. Is that to go up the mountain with? Mr. Berg, should we go?
Okay, where are we going to go?
Mountaineering gear.
Up to that rock.
Up to that one.
You know, we need about 10 minutes to catch our breath again.
You know, when you look out over this, it looks very nice.
The Sunveld is probably still 65–70% uncultivated. So the trick is not to stop that, is to stop the clearing of land. But people demand the land gets cleared because there's a greater and greater pressure of numbers. They need food. So we've either got to box smarter and use the same land more effectively, or we've got to clear more land to get the same product. And we've discovered in the growing of potatoes that by use of biological agents that we've been able to return to the same piece of land more often than we were when we were only going the chemical route. Maybe the biodiverse way is the more sustainable way in the long run.
I'd like to go into your packing shed about now.
Yes,
So
pleased to meet you.
you must be Toby's wife.
Wife, yes.
It's kind of strange when you think of farming, you forget that there's a whole distribution line as well that has to happen.
Yeah.
I've seen more sterile environments and white coats in the food industry than I have in hospitals.
Yeah. Hospital, you can walk in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could rob a bank like this.
You could. So this is where they keep the produce when it
In
comes
there?
in. Yes.
Is there anything
I don't
in
know
there?
if there's anything in here now.
I can see potatoes, and you can smell them straight away.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, yeah.
That earthiness. These are already washed and.
On here, it's already washed, and they just sort it. And what you actually don't know is that the potatoes that's not washed, they actually keep much longer. You take off the protective layer actually from them,
When you wash
and you
them,
expose them to light, and yeah, you
naturally
actually
they
get,
want to grow.
Yeah, and that's why if you've got a sell-by date for 3 days or 4 days, but actually you can keep this for 2–3 weeks if it's not washed.
Sure.
Yeah. So we must go back to basics.
Funny, I feel like I've come full circle. You know, when you see them in the field, come in, and then eventually you or I eat them 2 or 3 days from now,
And you don't even know what happened to them
or where they came
where they
from.
came from,
Or
yes.
I always feel kind of like the farmer should feel proud. You know, this is mine, and you're eating it.
Yeah, we do, and also all this luck standing here ready to go. In the afternoons when the truck leaves, you feel good.
Yeah.
You know, you've done your bit
To feed the nation.
to feed the nation. Yes.
Organics only. I like that.
You see, it's only a small section of our business, growing each day.
For our agriculture to go completely organic is virtually impossible. We just can't produce enough. But John was saying to me he's using the organic side of the farm to test things out that he can apply to the biological farming,
Yeah.
which is quite cool.
At the back there, they're doing the sweet potatoes from the back.
Yeah. So these were the ones I would have seen coming out. These are the ones I saw coming out with Toby, with your husband.
Yeah.
So these you just washed, we just
We
softly
just
brush off the
brush,
excess
and
sand.
they take off all these little hairs,
Yeah.
and then they they pack them.
By doing it by hand, everyone has a job. Kind of makes sense. And a machine can never care for something the same way that a person can.
Yeah.
What you cooking me for dinner tonight, Louise?
We're doing the Sandveld lamb potjie.
Sunfelt lamb
Yes.
potjie.
And we're going to do all the produce that we've got.
Yeah.
Some of them we don't have in season now, but I'm still going to use them because we do them some time of the year. So yeah,
Can I be your assistant? Eh?
definitely.
I'm going to do gnocchi for you in the top of your potjie.
Oh, wow, that's-
So, because it'll suck up, from potatoes and flour, it'll suck up all that lacquer, fat and stuff on the top of it, and then...
Nice. The potatoes and the butternuts that we don't use here, I'm going to show you on the other side what we do with the waste.
I can't believe how sterile the food industry actually is, hey?
Except that over here you need a beard cover, and you need a boot cover, and a mop cap.
Gee, whiskers. Different environment. So this is the peeling and cutting side.
Yeah.
And then this, what would happen to that? Into your worm
That
farm?
goes to the worms,
Yeah.
if Tubi needs some, otherwise to the compost.
To the compost.
Yeah.
I like the way everything gets recycled, you know? Well, not recycled, that's what nature does. Nothing goes to waste in nature. You know, if we can emulate those systems in what we do, it's perfect.
We can live a little bit longer.
Sure.
We're going around, we're going to redress,
Yeah.
going
Again?
into the, yes.
Wow. You could eat off this floor.
Yeah.
So it comes from the cleaning, peeling side there. What do you call it?
The
Low,
low care.
the low care. And then this is high care. I don't know where I thought my food was coming from, but you know, you almost don't realize that there's a person involved somewhere who's peeling it, cleaning it, washing it, packing it, you know, all those steps along the way. So that we don't have to do it.
Thank you very much.
Now I've got to make John go and stick his hand in the compost.
So this little bit was turned yesterday. This is hot. Let's see what it looks like inside. Yeah, you're not going to keep your finger in there.
There for long. But that's nature's way of killing
Killing the bad boys.
the bad boys. I mean, John, this is probably one of the biggest principles of biological farming. It's hot here, eh? I mean, I can literally feel this must be 70, 75 degrees, eh?
The problem is to get sufficient raw material.
Funny, in gardens nowadays, everyone rakes everything up, cuts the tree, and they want to throw it away. They should be turning it back into their own gardens.
well-
Listen, it's a score for you.
I'm encouraging the people to throw it away. That's the bottom line.
Just can you load half of this up in my car for when I go home, please? You know, I'll just take some of your hard work now. In fact, when I come to Clam William from now onwards, I'm going to jump the fence.
Come with a trailer, with
And
a
I'm
fence.
just gonna, yeah, if you'll come in, there'll be a hole missing out of your compost.
Maybe this is going to have to become one of the valuable sites on
You
the
have
farm.
to fence it up.
Fence it up, yeah.
There's only one thing left, eh? A little bit of a kaya tonight.
Yeah,
Toby and
have a few cigars for an off-skate cigar. What have you and Louise discussed what she's got to do?
she's doing potjie. I don't even have to think about it. I'm just going to add a little to her
But
potjie.
what's she doing in the potjie?
I don't know.
No, I don't think you're being fair, eh?
Hey, I think I've been brilliant. I get to sit back, have a glass of wine with you and things, and add in the piece de resistance right at the end.
Going to see.
Do you like the excuse to get out of the office early? Well, listen, you know I'm your assistant, huh?
Yeah, well, actually, Tubi's assistant.
Toby's assistant,
Yeah, he's the
the potjie master.
The main master, yeah.
I'm going to make gnocchi. Put them on a bed of salt, then prick them and then bake them for like 2 hours. We want to get them as dry as possible. And later on we'll work some flour in.
Okay.
I'll show you another trick just now.
Well, you're going to show me a lot because I have no idea.
Gnocchi, this is where you must rub your belly with glee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 'cause I'm going to put it in the top of the potjie later on, and then it's going to suck up all that fat and stuff and
Delicious.
readiness. my time on the farm Patrasvlei in the Clan William region of South Africa with the Berg family is coming to an end. And I came here to see where our French fries, our mashed potato, our roast potatoes come from. So what did I learn after my mission to find out about the humble potato? Well, I'm only going to buy mine from farmers like John, or from stores that support farmers like John. Because if I'm not, I'm contributing to a bigger problem.